Hey guys, welcome back to
This Latina Needs Therapy too.
I am your host, Eli Ortega.
And I am your co-host, Jackie Velasco.
Welcome to episode 2 of season 3. We're on a roll.
Yeah.
I don't know. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
I'm excited just to start the season.
I know. We're back. We're being consistent.
I know, finally.
How was your week?
It was good.
Tell us the
It was
cheese minute.
good.
Tell us what
Oh
happened.
my God. Okay, so last week
Yes.
we came to record in the studio and we ended up going to brunch. And let me tell you, I don't know what happened or what went on, but I just remember waking up and being like, where am I?
Dude. Okay, so basically we came to
Yeah.
the studio. We're like, we're gonna go to brunch,
Yeah.
something light.
Have something light.
Light.
Yeah.
We ended up at Agave's Kitchen and
It's in
Tequila
downtown.
House, downtown
Mhm.
Long Beach.
Mhm.
And we were like, we're gonna go in, just have a couple mimosas and go home. That turned into like 4, 5, 6 mimosas.
It was pretty much like a whole bottle.
More than
a
a
whole bottle. Yeah.
And then we were just fucked up. Like we ended up, because I think, well, they have like a little dance club section.
Yeah.
So after we finished and closed out our tab, the girl was like, oh, if you guys want to go dance, you guys can go next door.
Mm-hmm.
So we went. After, literally, as soon as we walked in, I don't remember anything past that. I kind of do like glimpse, but not the full entire thing.
I honestly don't remember. I don't even remember taking a shot. I don't even remember dancing with some of the girls there. Like,
the thing about
I
me
don't
and
know.
Jackie is like, when we're by ourselves and we're like, we see other girls, we kind of start like mingling with them and hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up dancing with them. We don't know.
What?
I don't even remember what they look like.
No, I don't either. I think there were the girls next to us.
To the right.
To the right. But as far as like talking to them and dancing with them, I don't recall ever like saying hi or like
it just happened.
Yeah, it just happened. So I don't know.
And guys, keep in mind that I drove there.
Yeah.
So literally there was a point me and Jackie looked at each other and we're like, I can't drive anymore. Like, absolutely can't drive anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're down the street, I'm not going to put us through that at all. So then, I don't even know. I think you called your partner and then I called mine and we're like, dude, we need help.
Oh, yeah. And they were like, what happened? Like, they were like trying to figure out like where we were at. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't remember like calling him or anything.
Yeah, you were like, I can't talk to him. And then I think I grabbed the phone and I'm like, hey, can you meet up with you? Because we are fucking falling apart. And then they pulled up in like 10, 15 minutes and then they came in and then they stayed for a bit. But then Jackie was like already falling asleep. She was like, when Jackie's like about to like black out, she starts doing this thing where she like starts like,
I start leaning.
Yeah.
And then that's how I know like, all right, like this is it.
I gotta
like
go home.
I have to go home.
And then we bounced after that. And it was so funny, like the way back home, getting to the apartment.
Funny story. When we got to the apartment, there's an elevator right by like where like on the first floor.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm on the second floor and you're on the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner, he was like, do you remember posting a photo of you and Ellie down at the elevator? And I'm like,
remember that.
I'm like, what are you talking about? And so I go and I look at the Instagram story, the podcast story, and it's on there.
Did you delete it?
No.
It stayed on there?
It stayed on there, but we didn't look bad.
Oh,
like,
okay.
We looked like we were having fun.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't remember. I'm like, yeah, like Lizzie took out her phone and she was like, let's take a selfie. You know, I was like, what? But I was like, I don't remember. But I left it up there because I was like, why not?
Yeah. Memories.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that was a Sunday and we got home like what?
It was early.
It was like 2, 3.
It was super early.
And I knocked out, woke up like around 6 and I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to get ready to go to work tomorrow. I fucking couldn't. I just couldn't. Like, I was just on the toilet for like an hour straight. I just couldn't.
I woke up like around, I think it was like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember like throwing up or anything. But according to Eric, he was like, yeah, you were throwing up. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I was on there for a while, and I was like, I can't go to work. If you're my boss and you're watching this,
She
I'm
can't go to
sorry.
work. If she doesn't show up tomorrow, then you know why.
Because we're going to brunch today after this too.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I was like, and I never get like that. Like, you
Yeah.
know me. Like,
No,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah,
hard
yeah.
for me
I
to
think
get that.
you maintain more of the alcohol than I do.
And then, dude, I was like, nah, I can't do this. Like, it took me like a whole entire day to recover. I can't. I'm just getting older.
I was fine by like 8. I was
You,
like, oh, I went to go get food and then I came back and I was fine.
you were like nothing.
Yeah, like
Oh
nothing happened.
fuck, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was last
I think that
Sunday.
was it. Yeah.
And then this Sunday or this week, we actually dropped the season 2
Season 3.
season 3,
Yeah,
like
season 3.
visual type of thing. It was
Yeah.
so dope. All the feedback that we got was
Yeah.
crazy.
The amount of effort and just time that our
Mhm.
videographer took, like, I can't even explain to you guys how freaking creative this person is. Like,
He's amazing.
he literally brought everything to life for
Yeah.
us, and I just loved every aspect of it.
And if you guys don't know,
Yeah.
he's my cousin, basically Jackie's family too at
Yeah.
this point.
Mhm.
He was actually the first guest on the podcast. So if
Mhm.
you go back to our videos, that was him.
Mhm.
He records like all our visuals, and it's crazy because we will literally just sit down and be like, this is what we want, this is like what the vibe we're going for, and he's like, okay. We booked the studio,
Mhm.
and it was like what you see within that 1 minute, it took us like almost 3 hours.
Yeah, more than 3 hours.
And I'm like, that's fucking
yeah.
insane.
Mhm.
And he was like, yeah, literally, sometimes I have to record like 3 minutes. That takes me like 6 hours. I'm like, holy shit.
But it came out so
I know.
good, like so good.
I know. I love it. It's probably like my favorite one so far.
Yeah, as far as like the first video, you can just tell the difference as to how more confident we are within this season.
Yeah.
Just I think the first video that we dropped, it was more of like chilled. It was more like us just stepping our toes into the water. Like, but then this one, it's like
we're here.
Yes, we're here. Like, we're freaking ready. Like, you guys
Yeah.
don't even know like what's to come. Like, it's so exciting to
I
like
know.
see that.
Yeah. And then all the feedback that we got was amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you guys for
Yeah.
that. But for today's episode, actually this week, I posted on our Instagram just
Yeah.
because I feel like on that platform we have a like it's very female based. So I felt like it was okay for me to talk about it on there because I was going to connect with more people on there
Right.
versus my personal one.
Mhm.
So I posted that I am basically was looking into getting on birth control because I got diagnosed with PCOS.
Okay.
And we got so many messages, so much feedback. And then Jackie was actually the one with the idea that was like, hey, if you're open to talk about it on a episode, which I think would be very good to open up the season with
that specific one.
Then let's talk about it.
Mhm.
So this is kind of gonna be like a part 1 because I do want to get a professional on here and basically just get more into like the professional side of PCOS, but I just want to talk about my experience because we did get a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
So basically, PCOS, let me just read you guys what the internet says, what it is.
Because we don't want to like, say things and then,
So it's basically polycystic ovary syndrome. It's a problem with hormones that happens during the reproductive years. If you have PCOS, you may not have periods very often, or you may have periods that last many days. So basically, it's your hormones are unbalanced, which causes a bunch of like infertility or like a lot of side symptoms that we can get into later. But I got diagnosed actually a year ago, but I literally like blocked it because I don't know, it was just something really hard for me to deal with. Like when I got diagnosed, I remember I got the call from my doctor and instantly I started crying because when I heard about PCOS, it was kind of like, oh, you were never going to be able to have kids.
Okay. I think that's the first thing that people tell you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like And it's so crazy because even the responses that we got
Yeah.
back, a lot of women were saying, like, I got diagnosed with PCOS, and my doctor was like, you're not going to have kids,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
it's going to be super hard for you to have kids. Like, kind of like negative around the whole
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
And I'm grateful that my doctor wasn't. Like, when I first got diagnosed, she was like, I don't want it to like discourage you if you do want to have kids. Let's just start a treatment and let's like test you more so we can find out exactly how to like attack it or like deal with it, right?
Mhm.
So first I want to talk about the symptoms that I had. And it's crazy because it actually started off TikTok.
Oh, no way.
Like I was scrolling on TikTok. This was last excuse me, this was last year. And this girl was like, "Oh, I got diagnosed with PCOS. These were my symptoms." And I was like, I literally every symptom that she had,
Mhm.
that she listed, I had. And I was like, okay, this is weird, right?
Mhm.
And then I got the COVID vaccine like a month later. After I got the COVID vaccine, my period didn't come for like 2, 3 months straight.
That happened to me as well.
Remember we were
Yeah.
talking about it, and
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this is weird. So then at the time, I didn't know that the COVID vaccine was doing this to a lot of women. So I was like, I need to go get checked out. Sure enough, went to my doctor. They sent me to get a pap smear, do blood work. When I did the pap smear, that's when they told me like I got the call and they were like, hey, your blood work came back and your hormones levels are like really off, and you're also vitamin D
Deficient.
deficient.
Mhm.
That's actually one of the biggest symptoms. It's when your vitamin D is low.
Mm.
So she was like, I think you have PCOS, but we need to run more tests. When she told me that, my mind went instantly like, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to have kids ever. And I told my partner I was crying, like, but I kind of just put it on the back burner, I think, because I was scared to actually, like, like,
Get diagnosed with it?
yeah, like
Okay.
officially.
Yeah.
So then a year went by. And then a month ago, my symptoms started getting really bad to the point where I was like, no, I need to just kind of face it. Like, I can't be doing this. I can't not know, or I
Mhm.
can't not like help myself. Um, so then I went back to my doctor and I was like, hey, we need to get down to the bottom of this. Like, I'm ready now mentally.
Mhm.
And then she was like, okay, let's go back to your doctor. Went back to my doctor, got some more blood work, and they were like, yeah, you officially have like PCOS. Um, so it's kind of like at this point, I had already kind of done more research as far as like internet, like people that have gotten like pregnant and still had PCOS. So I was
Mhm.
like in a better mental place with it, I would say. Um, so then I went to my doctor and I was like, what's the plan? Like, what do we have to do here? And she was like, okay, so basically, I want to get you on birth control. Keep in mind, I've never been on birth control, like never, never,
Not even
never.
when you were like younger?
I went on it once for like a month,
Okay.
but that was like I don't really count it because I
Okay.
really, I think it takes like at least 60 days or something like that, or
For
30
it to
days.
like fully like
Yeah.
yeah.
So I remember when I had got on it when I was really, really young, I stopped just because I didn't feel like myself. So I felt really scared of getting back on it.
Okay.
And then me and my partner have been having like unprotected sex for a while now. So
Mhm.
that was like kind of concerning. Like, I'm not getting pregnant, like what's happening, right?
Mhm.
So so my doctor was like, I want to get you on birth control for 3 months. And I was like, well, what's the point of birth control? Because I'm terrified. I hear so many like horror stories. Like, I
It
don't feel like myself.
I think it definitely changes your lifestyle cuz for me personally, I've I was on birth control for about like 2 years.
Oh, shoot.
And that affected my mental health so bad that I was like, I can't. Like,
Hmm.
I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired of not feeling like myself, like
Hmm.
low energy. Like, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm so glad that I got off of it because
Hmm.
now I feel more like me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
That's what a lot of women have said
Yeah.
too. Even when I posted that, people were like, dude, don't do it. Like, I was on birth control. I fucking got like depressed. I
Yeah.
wasn't feeling like
Hmm.
myself. And I'm like, that's scary. That's so scary.
Not only that, but I think one thing for me that has definitely changed, because I would get my period every month.
Hmm.
And when I got off of birth control, my period was like it was like all over the place, and I
Mm,
didn't understand why
yeah.
until I was like, let me just wait it out. If things don't like help resolve itself, then I have to go see a doctor. But
Yeah.
luckily enough, like now I get my period almost every month.
That's good.
Yeah.
Um, well, she told me to get on birth control for 3 months. And then she was like, and I was like, well, what's the point of that? Like, I need to know what I'm getting myself into because that shit's scary.
Yeah.
And then she said, okay, well, basically, birth control gets in your system. And I don't know if this is correct. I'm just sharing with what my doctor told me,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. She said, birth control will basically tell your body what to do. So because my hormones are off.
Okay.
So birth control will come in and kind of like tell my body, you need to be at this level, you need to be at this level. She was like, birth control is going to come and just regulate everything,
Mm.
help you get your period every month. Um, and then basically, when you get off it after those 3 months, she's like, your body will be on autopilot. So your
Oh,
body will
okay.
already know what to do
Okay.
after that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, sounds like a good fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
Get me on it, right? And after I shared on Instagram that I was gonna get on birth control, I don't think I want to do it anymore.
What is the reason as to like why you don't want to?
It's all the feedback that we got, and people were like, I have PCOS, and the first thing that they threw at me, it was multiple girls.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple girls were like, the first thing that they threw at me was birth control. I did it and it didn't help me for shit. It just made me like gain weight, made me like depressed, made me this, made me that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't help at all. And I fell through this rabbit hole on TikTok where I just like searched up PCOS, and a lot of women are like, don't get on birth control, don't get on birth control. Do a more natural, like holistic way of
Mm-hmm.
healing yourself, like teas, trying to regulate your hormones. There's like vitamins that you can take, like
Herbs.
herbs, like
Mm-hmm.
basic PCOS, there's no cure for it. So I'm always gonna have it, but I can help my body get to the hormone levels that it needs to get to so I can be okay.
Okay.
Um, so right now at this moment, I'm in like this sort of thing where it's like, do I try the birth control because I would hate to not try it and that actually help me? You know what I mean?
Because I think at the same time, it's kind of like because every woman is
It's
different. So
different.
what might work for somebody else might not work for you. But
Hmm.
what if it works for you?
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, should I? I'm like fighting this thing. Like I'm
Yeah.
always telling you, be like, what do I do? Like literally, CVS is like calling my line every day. They're like, come pick it up, come pick it up. And I'm like, fuck, like either I do it or I officially just go the natural way and like, you know what I mean?
See. Okay.
And then there's just like a bunch of like vitamins and supplements that women have took, and it's actually helped them. So a lot of these girls have not had the need to get on birth control.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, fuck, like
Like what route do
do I
you
take?
go?
What
Yeah.
route do I take?
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment I'm still doing my research, but it's like I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know.
If you guys have PCOS and have been diagnosed with it, like let us know like in the comments or like DM us. Like I would want to hear more stories like
Mhm.
of what to do.
Honestly, like I would really like to know if anyone out there who has PCOS has had a kid.
Yeah, I actually
Like,
have a family member.
oh yeah?
Um I don't want to say because I don't know if she
Yeah.
wants me to
Mm-hmm.
tell everyone that she has it, but she's really close to me
Okay.
and she has PCOS and she's had 2 kids
Two
already.
kids. Oh, so I guess in a way it is possible to have a kid.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's just harder.
Yeah.
Because we basically don't ovulate the same way that regular girls do.
Oh, okay.
Because you people that are regular,
Mm-hmm.
you get your period every month, every almost the same day, and then you have like a 3-day ovulation window where you could get pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't do that because
Oh.
we get our periods like every other month, or we get it instead of like a week, we get it for like 2 weeks.
So like having your period for like 2 weeks, that's rough.
And you know what's crazy? I'm gonna get into like kind of like my
Mhm.
symptoms, but basically my first sign was that I would get my period twice a month.
Oh,
It
wait.
was so fucking weird. Like, but mine wouldn't last a week. It would last like 2 days. So it was like I would get my period and I would
Mhm.
have it 2 to 3 days and I would be off it for like 3 days and then get it again. And
Oh,
then that cycle would last a week or like vice versa. It's just never consistent. Like
okay.
it's never like okay, I'm gonna get my period and it's gonna last a week.
Were you ever concerned?
Yeah, super,
Yeah.
super. Like, I would be like, dude, something's wrong with me. Like, maybe it's not my period. Maybe like one of my organs is like bleeding out or something stupid like that, you
Yeah.
know? But I was so scared, and I would tell like my partner, like, I don't know what the fuck is happening to my body. Like, second symptom, I was always tired. Always tired. Like, no matter how much coffee I drank, no matter like what I did, like I was always fucking tired. Like, if I sat down or if I laid down on my couch, I would want to take a nap. And that's because of my vitamin D.
Oh.
So then for that, they did give me like vitamins, and they're like, you need to take your like vitamin
So you're
D, like,
taking some of them right now?
just
Okay.
vitamin D, like
Okay.
vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
And then my third symptom, I would get like kind of like, I don't know, kind of talked to my mom about these symptoms, and she's like, that kind of sounds like when you're diabetic. So like if I would have like my sugar level would be too high, I would start feeling like hot, like I was gonna pass out. And I'm like having like hot sweats.
Mm-hmm.
And that was definitely my third symptom. Like, I don't know where I would just get hot, and I'm like, dude, I'm fucking hot. Like, if you were going through like menopause or something,
Oh, okay.
like, I'm like, dude, why am I hot right now? It's
Yeah.
fucking cold. And my mom is diabetic, and she would be like, I get like that sometimes. So that was my third symptom, and I was like, oh, definitely, like something is wrong. But as far as like symptoms, that was pretty much all of like mine. And then obviously going through TikTok, and I'm like, holy shit, I
You
have
start
all
to
those
like
things.
see other symptoms that you don't know about.
Yeah. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is like, I don't feel like a lot of women that are Latinas speak about these like fertility things, or like are scared to like speak up. Like, and it's so insane because just that one post, so many of you guys like reached out to us and were like, I have it. I know somebody that has it. Like, PCOS is so fucking common, and you shouldn't feel bad for like having it or feel like you're less of a woman for having it. So when you brought that up, I think it's perfect because we need to talk about shit like this.
I think also like, I think especially when you grow up in a Hispanic household, that's not brought up on. And I think the main reason is because a lot of our moms don't know about PCOS.
Yeah.
Or they don't know how to fully help you in that way.
Yeah. My aunt, who she thinks that she has it as well, but she's never been like officially diagnosed.
Okay.
She would always tell me these stories that like in our like in a Hispanic or like a Latino household, being a girl is very like shameful. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I understand where you're coming
Like,
from. Yeah.
having your period is almost something that we grew up thinking that we have to be embarrassed about. And I first saw it through like my aunts, because my aunt would tell me like, dude, like growing up when I was like your age, when I had like my period, it was like something so embarrassing. Like my brothers could never know that I was on my period. My mom would be like, oh, like don't leave like your pads and your stuff like out so your brothers don't know. And then I remember she brought up this specific story because one day I was on my period and I didn't have any more pads. So my dad, he's like, I'm gonna go to CVS and I'm gonna go get you some. She like looked so shocked, and she was like, you're not like embarrassed that your dad knows that you're. I'm like, no. I was like, my dad goes to the store and he buys me like pads. Like, it's normal to us.
It is normal, because the same thing happened to me once, where at the time when I was living with my parents and I had gotten my period and stuff, I would tell my dad like, hey, I need pads. And at the time I was a little shy, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But then it started being normal. It started being to the point where he even asked me every month, like, hey, do you have pads?
Yeah.
Do you want to go to the store?
Yeah.
And it's so like shocking to me, like, because nowadays it's like they're more open to that idea than how it was before. Yeah.
And when she looked at me and she was like, dude, you're not embarrassed? And I'm like, no. Like, my dad he's my dad.
Yeah.
I don't care. And she's like, dude, growing up, like, she's like, I remember one time like my pads were out, I got fucking smacked.
No
Like,
way.
because that was something to be shameful about.
But what is the reason?
I think, and I don't blame my grandma. I just think that was a way of protecting like her daughters.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, it's just something really weird to like really talk about,
Yeah.
and especially back then, I guess.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like even with my little sister, I'm like super fucking open. Like
Mhm.
I don't care. Like the first fucking time that I told my mom I wanted to try a tampon, I was so scared because I'm like, oh
Why?
my gosh, she's gonna think that I'm like having sex already.
I
Because
think that is like their first thought though. Like,
yeah, it's like a misconception with
yeah.
tampons. Like, oh, when she starts using tampons, she's having sex
Yeah.
already. Like, no, guys, like, no.
Not yet.
Um, but I mean, I don't know. That was like with periods, it's such a weird topic to talk about
Yeah.
in our like community,
Community.
but we
Yeah,
should
yeah.
talk about it more
Yeah.
often.
Mhm.
But I think that's pretty much it for today's episode.
A question that I would want to ask you
Hmm.
is what advice would you give women out there that have PCOS?
I think do your own like research.
Uh-huh.
Um, don't think that like what works for her will work for you.
Okay.
Do what you feel like you need to do, like for your body. Like for me,
Mhm.
example, like a lot of people are saying like don't do birth control, but I'm kind of like I want to try it. Like I want to
Yeah.
try it just to like quitarme de las dudas. Like what
Mhm.
if it does work for me? Like and then if it doesn't, then I still have the next 3 months to do it. Like
Yeah.
that's something else my mom told me. Like, okay, if you do want to do it, it's just 3 months. Like think about it, it's just from here to February, and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then we can go and look for like I don't know if you know what these people are, but we call them curanderos.
Yeah.
My mom actually went to a curandero to have me,
Oh, okay.
but she went out to one in Mexico.
Oh, okay, okay.
So she couldn't. She was here in the States in Long Beach, and she couldn't get pregnant. Like it was hard for her to get pregnant. She wanted me so bad. They took her to Mexico, and she started seeing a curandero like every week.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know where she got pregnant.
Oh, so then it's like treatments in a
Yeah.
way.
So
Mhm.
basically, son like sobadas.
Okay.
So they were like sobarla, put like herbs on her. Like
Mhm.
she would drink like teas and stuff like that. It's like a regimen type of thing.
Okay.
And that's how she got pregnant with me. I
Oh.
was a high risk pregnancy, but at least she got pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know. So she's like, what if you like look into like a sobadero, like a something like that, like sobadas, like a regimen out there.
Mhm.
And I'm like, there's so many things I could do.
Yeah, there's just a lot of things that we don't know about.
Hmm.
But definitely do your research.
Hmm.
I think the biggest one is don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
Because every doctor is different. Not all doctors are all the same. So I
Hmm.
think just look into like what advice you want to take from people and learn
Hmm.
from that.
Also, I think a very important one that you said was don't be discouraged. And
Mhm.
I know it's so fucking difficult not to because you see other people getting pregnant or like it's so easy for other people to get pregnant, but
Mhm.
it's your journey. Like
Yeah.
when you do, because you are, if you really do want to get pregnant, it's gonna be all worth it. You're gonna be like, holy shit, God's timing is like perfect
Perfect.
now.
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Um, and then also another one is like you're gonna be hearing a bunch of shit from a lot of tias and a lot of abuelitas telling you shit.
That's always. Yeah.
But fuck that. Like
Yeah.
fuck that. Like I was to a point where I would get like super sad and I'd be like, dude, like maybe I'm not meant to get pregnant. You
Mhm.
know how many pregnancy tests I took already? But it makes sense now. Like
Okay.
now I have answers. Like before it was kind of like if I never went to a doctor to like find out what it was, I was always gonna think like I never gonna be able to have babies. And now I know.
Mhm.
Now I know that I have this and how I can like go about it.
Mhm.
So it's always good to know, like, if that, like,
Don't be
just
afraid
yeah,
either. Yeah.
yeah. Don't be afraid to go to a doctor.
Yeah. I
Like,
know I know sometimes it's hard, but it's better to know ahead of time before it's too late and
hmm.
then you have no idea what to do at that point.
Hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Any more questions for me?
No, I think we pretty much answered.
I think for the part two of this one, we should bring in like a professional and really talk about like PCOS, what they recommend,
Yeah.
maybe some backgrounds of like different patients, maybe different like ethnicities that have had PCOS, because like especially being Latino, we handle like these fertility stuff with like curanderos, people que soban, like herbs, and
Uh-huh.
then maybe there's like different, like I know in Africa they probably handle it different.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
like different parts of like Latin America, like Central America, has like
Mhm.
different cures or like remedies to like go about this stuff.
Yeah, I think that
So
would be a very interesting thing that we can bring on this podcast.
for you guys
Yeah.
and for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, I hope you guys enjoy. Look at my pelito.
Sticking up.
I hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back obviously next week.
Yeah.
Just audio.
Audio version.
You won't see our
Yeah,
faces
I
anymore.
know. It's
Just
okay. We'll
kidding.
once we start with our guests, we'll be back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for listening. And then don't forget to follow the podcast at This Latina Needs Therapy too.
As well as both of our Instagrams. Mine's is Spanish Horchata.
And mine is La Niña Fresa.
And then don't forget our TikTok and definitely subscribe to our YouTube.
Woo! Damn, you're
Yeah,
getting good.
I was
at
like,
this.
yeah.
But until next week, we're not gonna forget this.
I know.
Don't forget to stay safe.
Stay sane.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Take it easy. Peace out.